Hi friends, my name is Soumya and welcome to my channel Soumya and English. Today in this video I am going to discuss about a cue card that is a part of IELTS speaking test. Now let's see the question. What does the question asks? Speak about a person you met while traveling, bus, train or aeroplane. How you met him or her, what type of topics you discussed with him, her, what qualities you liked, disliked in that person. Now, when we are talking about cue card, we should know that we will have 3 to 4 minutes, either 3 or 4 minutes to speak on the topic. 1 minute for preparation, rest of the minute for speaking. So how we will utilize that 1 minute of time? How we will do the brainstorming? So when we get a minute of time to think on, we'll quickly see the main question and find the keywords in the main question. Let's see the main question. Speak about a person you met while traveling. So here are two keywords in the first line of the question. Person, traveling. Now focus on person. About whom you want to talk. What was the profession of that person? A person can be a doctor, a teacher, a nurse, a student. So you can, a journalist. So you can pick up any profession. It is always advisable to talk on a profession in which you are comfortable in. Once we have done with this part, we'll quickly move to the next keyword, and that is traveling. Why traveling? Because in the entire speaking session, I'm not going to repeat the same word. I'll use its synonyms, maybe journey or tour. Repetition always reduces your band score. The other important thing we need to concentrate on is that it has been mentioned the three modes. There has been mentioned the three modes of transportation: bus, train, aeroplane. So we cannot change this mode of transportation. We have to pick any one out of three. Once we have done with the main question, then we'll concentrate on the pointers that has been given with the main question. And the first pointer is how you met him, her. Okay, so I'll quickly think, maybe I was going somewhere, but of course, because the question says while you were traveling. So maybe I was in the airport and at the launch area, I saw that person. Why? Because he was sitting beside me. He had to board the same flight, and fortunately or unfortunately, our flight was delayed. Now, the second pointer, what type of topics you discussed with him, her. If I'm picking a journalist, I'm going to talk about journalism because I know what work a journalist do. How he interviews, I'll talk about how he interviews people, about his news report, about his online articles, and most important, about the pros and cons of being a journalist. Similarly, if you want to pick any other profession, a doctor or a nurse or a student, you know what activities they do in their job. So you can quickly think over it and you can bring those points in your discussion. Now the last pointer, what qualities you liked and disliked in that person. Now qualities you can say within 1 or 2 sentences. Use some adjectives. Here I have written adamant. You can use any other adjectives to tell the quality of that person. Now once we have completed this 1 minute of preparation, we will bring these pointers, or we'll frame these pointers into sentences. Now when I'm talking about a cue card, we should always remember that a proper cue card should have an introduction, body and conclusion. So how will you frame the introduction, how will you frame the body, and how will you frame the conclusion? So always the first pointer comes in your introduction part. Now if I'm talking about introduction, you see the first line, it says speak about a person you met while traveling. So traveling, somewhere I can use the word traveling in my introduction part, connecting it to the first pointer, how you met him, her. Okay, the second part can be in the body part, what type of topics you discussed with him or her. And the last pointer, what qualities you liked and disliked in that person, can be the concluding part. So let's see how I have framed all these points into sentences. So, covering the introduction and first pointer. How you met him or her. Traveling is in my job profile. Now, job profile is a collocation. Now, why I have mentioned here collocation, connector, phrasal verb, synonyms, because when you start speaking, you frame the sentences by adding all these collocations together, connectors together, idioms, phrasal verb, and that is how your speaking gets more and more band score. Now see, traveling is in my job profile. Job profile is a collocation and now has also become my passion. Now this is an introductory sentence for the speaking. Hence is a connector, coming across, a phrasal verb, good cheer of people, again a collocation, is normal to me. Recently, while I was on a tour, now see, I have used the word tour, which is a synonym of traveling, to Bangalore, I met a journalist by profession. By profession is a phrase. We both were sitting in the lounge area, that is a collocation of the airport. On inquiring, I found out, now found out is a phrasal verb, that he had to board the same flight as mine, which was delayed by an hour. Now you can see how I started with an introduction, only one line of introduction that was related to traveling, and then I quickly started talking about that person, how I met him, where I met him. Now see about the next pointer, covering the body, and second pointer, what type of topics you discussed with him, her. In order to alleviate our fatigue. Now, in order to is a phrase, alleviate our fatigue is collocation, and intolerable boredom is collocation. We continued with the talk. He then proceeded to tell me several anecdotes about himself and his job. For instance, again a connector, how he interviewed and interrogated people about their experiences, about his writing scripts, news reports is again a collocation, online articles, again a collocation, and also the pros and cons of being a journalist. On listening, now on listening to him, listening to, again a phrasal verb, it made me ponder on again a phrasal verb, the struggles and pain faced by a journalist. Whereas is a connector. On the surface, now on the surface, idiom, their lives seems to be adventurous. Now here I have covered the second part of the pointer, which I also consider the body of the cue card. Now how will I conclude it? By covering the last pointer, covering the conclusion and last pointer. What qualities you liked, disliked in that person. Although, again a connector, I was discussing various issues with him, somewhere I felt he was adamant, strict on certain burning topics. Topics, again a collocation. Sorry, the spelling of topics out here is wrong. I missed O. So the correct spelling will be Topics, which made me think and realize that he was a man who loved the sound of his own voice. Loved the sound of his own voice. That is an idiom. Now, if you want to know the meaning of these idioms, the two idioms that I have used in this video, you can go back to my previous videos. You'll find the meaning of these idioms out there. Now, you can see how the collocations come together, connectors come together, phrasal verbs come together, and idioms come together to make a speaking, cue card speaking, a proper speaking. So, let me read it all together in a flow so that you can understand it. Traveling is in my job profile and now has also become my passion. Hence, coming across good share of people is normal to me. Recently, while I was on a tour to Bangalore, I met a journalist by profession. We both were sitting in the lounge area of the airport. On inquiring, I found out that he had to board the same flight as mine, which was delayed by an hour. In order to alleviate our fatigue and intolerable boredom, we continued with the talk. He then proceeded to tell me several anecdotes about himself and his job. For instance, how he interviewed and interrogated people about their experiences, about his writing scripts, news reports, online articles, and also the pros and cons of being a journalist. On listening to him, it made me ponder on the struggles and pain faced by a journalist, whereas their lives seemed to be adventurous. Sorry, whereas on the surface their lives seems to be adventurous. Although I was discussing various issues with him somewhere, I felt I was adamant on certain burning topics, which made me think and realize that he was a man who loved the sound of his own voice. Again, repeating, sorry for the error in the spelling of topics. The correct spelling will be Topics. Now, see what are the vocabularies that were used in the speaking session. The linkers, connectors, or cohesive devices, collocations, idioms, and phrases. So this is for you. You can find out the meaning of these words, linkers, collocations, idioms, and phrases. This will help you understand the cue card in a more better way. Thank you. And if you like the video, like it, share it, and subscribe it. And please do not forget to press the bell icon.